Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toys Escapades channel Malaysia. A very special thanks to the always awesome Mr. Home Arcade for sending over these scans of the new mini comic that comes with the MOTU Origins Two-Bad multi-pack set. This one is titled Hostile Convergence. This set is supposed to be an exclusive for STCC 2024 that's happening at the end of the month and also due to be up for pre-order on July 25th at 9 AM Pacific time on Mattel Creations. But as I covered in the previous video, somehow several sets of these have already been turning up online. Anyway, Mr. Home Arcade has gotten his hands on one of them and he has a fantastic review of it up on his channel right now, so go check it out. He sent over the scans of the mini comics so I can talk about it here with you guys. So let's get into the video. Before that though, if you wish to support the channel and join up as a member, do click on the join button and come on board as an official member of the Retro Toy Escapades crew. Also, this review of the mini comic will contain spoilers. So if that's a problem for you, then too bad, okay? Well, I'm just kidding, okay? Look, if that's a problem for you, just stop the video right now and go and play with some He-Man toys instead. Now look, the real surprise with this mini comic is that it features two separate sections, two separate stories that focus on both Tuvar and Badra separately before they became inseparable as Two-Bad. And of particular awesomeness is the fact that you actually get two different covers for each of the stories. So guys, obviously a lot of extra work and effort went into the production of this thing. Let's celebrate it. Okay, I'm going to break up this review into two parts, with part one here focusing on Tuvar. Firstly, I just wanted to mention that the artwork here is some of the absolute best I've seen in a MOTU mini comic since forever, right? Some of the recent books, like the ones that came with Cyclone and even the massive Eternia playset, the mini comics that came with those, I think the artwork in there looked really cartoony. But this one here has got some incredible line work. It's got some great inking. The attention to detail is just fantastic. It's better than a Marvel comic book these days. I mean, for the longest time, I've seen a lot of the major publishers put out books with great looking covers, but the interior pages are just shit, okay? They go with a different artist for the cover to pull you in and a completely amateurish artist for the inside pages, okay? But not so here. This one here just works on all levels. The artwork is an absolute visual treat. But let's check out the story. What's it all about? Okay, so we have Tuvar, okay, the blue-skinned, brutish bounty hunter who's seen scouring the galaxy in search of contracts, in search of ways to get paid. And then he gets this new assignment that requires him to possibly capture or kill a truly powerful ruler in the galaxy, somebody called Prince Pixlaw. This guy looks like a cross between Captain Jack Sparrow and one of those 10 feet tall blue-skinned aliens from Avatar, right? Now, it's not immediately apparent just why this guy needs to go, but somebody has decided, okay, that he can't stay in power anymore. He's got to be rid of, and Tuvar's the guy to do it. Okay, so Tuvar reaches the palace, right? He lands, he reaches the palace, and he's sneaking up on this guy, all right? The prince is just literally just sitting there waiting to get shot, right? And then suddenly he encounters Badra, right? This is apparently their first meeting, okay, because it says here, it was hate at first sight, okay? So they're both fighting over who gets the right to kill this guy. But it turns out that Prince Pixlaw wasn't just sitting around waiting to get blasted to death, right? He was expecting them. He turns the tables on them. Suddenly, it's like the whole palace comes alive, okay, with alarms, sirens. So both of these guys, okay, Tuvar and Badra, they've got to make a break for it. Both of them escape in their respective ships. But it's not over yet, because now they're just blasting each other in space. They tear into each other's ships until both of them crash land onto a planet. And even then, right, it's not done yet. Okay, they get up, they get back at it, punching, kicking, tearing into each other. But they both appear to reach some kind of stalemate when the ground itself swallows them up, right? Okay, so they end up basically being pulled into something that looks like green, slimy quicksand. Tuvar is just knocked out, unconscious. But later he wakes up. We see him just spying on Badra in the distance. Badra is sitting by the campfire. Obviously, Badra must have known that Tuvar survived. They hate each other, but somehow he lets him live. Okay, he lets him just sleep it off. So this guy wakes up and then he confronts Badra. And actually, you know what? Is it supposed to be Badra or Badra? I don't know, okay? I guess it's Badra, okay, because he's one half of Two-Bad. Anyway, Badra's dialogue is written in a way that shows that he's struggling grammatically with English. He says here, "You not have stones to kill me, but you need me alive for us escape. Badra, work with you one time." Okay. And then, Tuvar, on the other hand, speaks like an English scholar. All right. He says, you do make a fair point. No doubt, Pig's Law is hunting us right now. And then apparently, they just start to bond because Tuva is just pouring out everything about his past. Okay, this is flashback sequence here where we learn that he was just once an innocent young boy struggling to survive on his home planet with a sick mother who was looking after him. And apparently his mother was really sick, okay, because suddenly one day someone comes calling on them and Tuva thinks it's the doctor, but holy shit, it's Skeletor, right? Okay, how can anybody confuse somebody that looks like this, okay, like a literal angel of death as a doctor? I mean, that skull for a face should have been a giveaway. Anyway, Skeletor explains that he's not a doctor, he's just a friend, someone that's seeking to help them, and he has work for Tuva, work that would pay him handsomely enough to help him look after his sick mom. So this apparently is the turning point where Tuva becomes a criminal, all right? He becomes a bounty hunter, he becomes a killer, all for the sake of cash. He gets paid handsomely as promised, but as it turns out, the money that he earned from his task could not save her because she dies anyway, right? Or maybe she was killed by Skeletor. Maybe it was all part of a plan. Because if you think about it, Skeletor could have just saved her if he wanted to, just by using the powers of the Havoc staff, right? But no, okay, he's got other plans. Anyway, just as this heart-to-heart bonding session between the two of them reaches its peak, suddenly Prince Pixlaw's army lands on the planet, right, to capture them, or maybe just capture Tuva, because as it turns out, Badra has betrayed him. Okay, this whole time, okay, they was just working together with the prince to get this guy captured. If you thought that Tuva hated Badra before this, well, now he absolutely despises him. He swears vengeance and he manages to escape. Okay, and then there's a scene here where he burns down Badra's house. It turns out that during their bonding session, Badra did confide in Tuva that his most prized possession was his mansion. Okay, now I'm just wondering to myself, why would these guys even be sharing stuff like this with each other? They hate each other, don't they? I mean, one guy's talking to the other about his sick mom. The other one is talking about his prized home. I mean, why are they doing this? Okay, I mean, they just met each other. They don't like each other. Why are they sharing personal information like this? Anyway, Badra is seemingly broken, seeing his house destroyed. Tuva escapes, of course, and then he receives a new assignment courtesy of the sorceress. So Skeletor has need of his services. He's summoned to Snake Mountain, where he finds Badra once again waiting. By this time, you're probably wondering, how is it that these guys keep running into each other? Well, probably Skeletor summoned them for the same mission. Anyway, they just start tearing up into each other once again. Skeletor decides that he's not having any of it, and then he just uses the Havoc staff and tells them that if they don't want to work together, well, that's just too bad. He actually said it, okay? He says it in the comic, okay? He says the word, too bad. Then he uses the Havoc staff to just fuse them together. So this part of the story ends with the sight of both Tuva and Badra being horrifically bonded together by mystical energies. But this isn't the end of the story, because there's also another half, like I showed you in the beginning, that focuses on Badra's story that will also lead up to this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that in the second part of this review. Anyway, this first half has a lot of interesting ideas. I do feel that it was a bit rushed. Like a lot of scenes that are happening here seem to be happening off panel, or they just sort of like just rush into it. But it is interesting to see basically how these two guys interact with each other. And especially also when you find out that Tuva wasn't always such a complete asshole. I mean, this guy was just a lost kid trying to care for his sick mom. So there's a bit of that too in there. But of course, the main star of this whole package, like I said, is the artwork. All right, the artwork is just freaking brilliant. Especially this double page spread here of the two of them just being bonded together. Yeah, this is just some totally fantastic looking art. And I just hope that whoever's doing it, okay, because they never credit the artists, okay, for these mini comics, we never get any credits, any production credits. But whoever's doing the art here, look, man, just keep employing him for all the rest of the mini comics. Right? Anyway, guys, just drop all of your comments below. Let me know what you thought of this first half of the mini comic, and I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content right here. Take care out there.